Welcome guys to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. Today we are showcasing Mai Valentine's Battle City profile coming up. Rightio, let's get straight into this, shall we? We'll start off of course with the ace monster of the deck, and that is Harpy's Pet Dragon. So Harpy's Pet Dragon has 2000 attack, 2500 defense. It's a dragon effect monster which gains 300 attack defense for each Harpy Lady on the field. Next up, I run 2 copies of the Harpy Lady Sisters. So Harpy Lady Sisters has 1950 attack, 2100 defense. This card cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summon with Elegant Egotist. We run 2 copies of the Cyber Harpy Lady, 1800 attack, 1300 defense. So very useful 4-star monster to get onto the field. And this card is treated as Harpy Lady as its effect. We run 1 normal copy of Harpy Lady, so that is 1300 attack, 1400 defense. We run 1 copy of the Harpy's Brother, just to get a bit of a Harpy engine into this deck, 1800 attack, 600 defense, so a useful 4-star monster as well. We run 2 copies of Birdface, so Birdface is 1600 attack, 1600 defense. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Harpy Lady from your deck to your hand. So that is a very good card for a Harpy deck. But that's the end of the Harpy engine of sorts in the deck. We now move to the Amazon part of Mai's deck. We run 3 copies of the Amazoness Fighter. So that is a warrior effect monster with 1500 attack, 1300 defense. You take no battle damage from battles involving this card. Next up, we run 3 copies of Amazoness Swordswoman, 1500 attack, 1600 defense. This card can be very useful in certain situations. So it's a warrior effect monster. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving this card instead. So that is a brilliant little card. Next up, I run 3 copies of the Amazoness Chainmaster. So Amazoness Chainmaster is 1500 attack, 1300 defense. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can pay 1500 life points. Look at your opponent's hand and then add 1 monster from their hand to your hand. So that could be absolutely brilliant in any duel when this card gets destroyed. Next up, I run 3 of this. Duname's Dark Witch, 1800 attack, 1500 defense. So Mai's got a lot of really strong 4-star monsters, got a lot in our arsenal to choose from. To round off the monsters, guys, we have run 2 copies of the Unfriendly Amazon. So the Unfriendly Amazon has 2000 attack, 1000 defense. You've got to offer 1 of your monsters on the field as a tribute, excluding this monster during each of your standby phases. If you cannot, this card is destroyed. So that's a pretty useful card to get on the field if you've got others on. It's a strong 4-star monster. Right to the spell cards. Run 1 copy of the Graceful Charity. So Graceful Charities draw 3 cards and discard 2. We run a copy of Pot of Greed, which draws 2 cards. Next up, we run 2 copies of the Elegant Egotist. So Elegant Egotist is pretty much have Cyber Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady from this example, and special summon Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters from your hand or deck. Useful card. Next up, we run 1 copy of the Cyber Shield. So equip only to Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters, it gains 500 attack. So the monster would most likely power up in this profile, for example, Cyber Harpy Lady, because it'll go from 1800 attack to 2300 attack, and that's a pretty good attacking weapon. Next up, we had to run this card. We run 2 copies of the Harpy's Feather Duster, so that destroys all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. So that is broken, and no wonder it's banned. Next up, we run 1 copy of the Monster Reborn. To round off the spells, guys, we run 2 copies of the Amazoness Spellcaster. So Amazoness Spellcaster is pretty much you target 1 Amazoness monster you control and 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. You switch the original attack of those targets to the end of this turn. So that's a good way of getting rid of a strong monster with many of Mai's Amazoness monsters in this deck. And that is a very good card to run in a profile. Moving on to the traps of Mai Valentine's Battle City profile, we've got 2 copies of Dramatic Rescue. Dramatic Rescue, you can only activate this card when a monster on your side of the field, that includes Amazoness and its card name, or is named Amazon Archer, is designated as a target by a card. You can return the targeted monster card to your hand and special summon another monster from your hand in face-up attack or defense position. There's so many amazing plays that you can possibly do with Dramatic Rescue. I think people can figure out what you could do with that particular card. Next up, I run 2 copies of the Mirror Wall. So each of your opponent's monsters that conducted an attack while this card was face up on the field, you slash their attack points in half. The only downside of a Mirror Wall is during each of your standby phases you pay 2,000 life points to keep it on the field, or you destroy Mirror Wall. We run 1 copy of the Amazoness Archers. Amazoness Archers is a really good card, especially if you've got a lot of decent monsters on the field. When an opponent's monster declares an attack while you control an Amazoness monster, change all monsters your opponent currently controls to face-up attack position. Flip effects are also not activated. They lose 500 attack. They also must attack if able. So that is really good at, say, clearing out a lot of monsters on their side of the field, especially if you combo it up with Mirror Wall. So they'll lose 500 in additional half of their attack again. So pretty amazing combination that you can do there in that deck. To round off the traps, guys, we run 1 copy of Shadow of Eyes. When a monster is set on your opponent's field, you can target that set monster, change that set monster to face-up attack position, and of course flip effects are not activated. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Battle City profile of Mai Valentine's. I certainly did. I enjoy the fact that it's got Harpies and Amazons in it. They've got very good synergy together. And of course, it was a very hard decision trying to come up with my favourite monster of the profile. I ended up going with the card Amazoness Swordswoman. Amazoness Swordswoman is just an amazing card just to close out a duel. Say for example your opponent's got a high defensive monster, you just attack with this. They take the battle damage, and you can attack a stronger monster than this particular card, and they just take all the battle damage. So a great card, and great artwork too. But that wraps up the Mai Valentine Battle City profile, guys. Smash the like button, comment, share with a friend, and of course subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again for another Battle City profile.